Close your eyes for a moment and imagine this. You are sitting thousands of years ago beside a fire, listening to your elders speak of a great flood. The story is not told in one language or in one corner of the world. It is whispered across continents, carved into tablets, sung in hymns, and passed from generation to generation. From Mesopotamia to India, from the far corners of South America to the valleys of China, one haunting tale repeats itself, a flood so vast, so unstoppable, that it swallowed entire civilizations and forced humanity to start again. Now pause and ask yourself, how could so many different cultures, separated by oceans and by time, carry almost the same memory? Coincidence? Or are these stories fragments of a truth far older than the history books dare to admit? Take Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization, where the Epic of Gilgamesh tells of Utnapishtim, a man warned by the gods to build a massive boat to survive a world-destroying flood. Thousands of miles away, the Hebrew Bible speaks of Noah, a man chosen by God to save creation from waters that covered the earth. Cross over to India and you find the tale of Manu, who was guided by a divine fish to prepare for a flood that would wash away everything unworthy. Even the ancient Mayans and the Aztecs spoke of floods that ended cycles of time. When stories echo across cultures that had no contact with each other, when the details, boats, chosen survivors, animals saved two by two, line up so eerily, it shakes the foundation of what we think we know. And here is where the mystery deepens. Science confirms that at the end of the last ice age, around 12,000 years ago, massive floods did occur as glaciers melted and oceans surged. Sea levels rose dramatically, swallowing coastlines and erasing entire settlements. Could this be the very flood our ancestors encoded into myth? Could the stories we dismiss as legends actually be the surviving memory of people who lived through one of the greatest natural disasters in human history? Imagine watching the world around you disappear beneath waves, watching temples, villages, and monuments vanish forever. Wouldn't you tell your children? Wouldn't you demand that the memory of that destruction never be forgotten? But there's something even more astonishing. These myths don't just talk about survival. They hint at civilizations that thrived before the waters came. Civilizations advanced enough to build megalithic temples, to study the stars, to leave behind knowledge etched in stone. If the flood truly reset humanity, then what was lost in those waters? What wisdom slipped from our grasp? Could the ruins we marvel at today, mysterious stone circles, underwater structures, or pyramids aligned with cosmic precision, be the last fingerprints of a world that existed before the flood wiped it away? Think about it, the flood is not just a tale of destruction, it is a tale of memory. It is humanity's way of saying, we were here before and we lost it all once. And perhaps that's why these stories still stir something deep within us, because they speak not just of fear and loss, but of resilience, of survival against impossible odds. They whisper that we are part of a cycle much bigger than ourselves, a cycle of creation, destruction, and rebirth. And maybe, just maybe, these ancient flood myths are the first clue that the timeline we cling to is far from complete. Because if so many voices from the past insist the same thing happened, then perhaps it did. And if it did, then the world before the flood was far more extraordinary than we have ever imagined. Picture yourself walking across the dry, rolling hills of southeastern Turkey. The land seems ordinary at first glance, but then you stumble upon something that feels like it doesn't belong to this age at all. Massive stone pillars, some taller than a man and weighing several tons, arranged in perfect circles. As you run your hands along their cool, weathered surfaces, you see animals, symbols, and strange figures carved with an artistry that feels almost timeless. This place is known as Göbekli Tepe, and the most astonishing thing about it is not just its beauty, but its age. Scientists have dated it to more than 11,000 years ago, making it older than the pyramids of Giza, older than Stonehenge, older even than written language. It is, in every sense, a mystery that doesn't fit neatly into the version of history we've been taught. Think about what this means. We've been told that civilization began only after humans settled down, learned to farm, and built permanent homes. According to the textbooks, temples and great monuments came later as a reflection of advanced societies. Yet here, on a hilltop in Turkey, we find the opposite. Göbekli Tepe suggests that long before farming, long before cities, humans were already gathering in large numbers to build something so complex, so monumental, that even today engineers and archaeologists puzzle over how it was possible. How could people who supposedly lived as simple hunter-gatherer design a site with such scale and sophistication? Where did they find the skill to cut and move stones that weighed tons? And why did they align their structures with the stars, showing an understanding of astronomy that should have been far beyond their reach? The deeper you look, the stranger it gets. These pillars are not rough or random. They are precise, deliberate, and filled with meaning. Lions, snakes, vultures, wild boars. Every carving seems to tell a story or encode a symbol. Some researchers believe the site may have been a temple, a place where ancient people tried to connect with the heavens or honor forces they could barely comprehend. Others suggest it might have been an astronomical observatory, a way to track the stars and predict the cycles of time. Whatever it was not the work of primitive people. It was the work of visionaries, of a culture advanced enough to leave behind a legacy carved in stone. And then comes the greatest puzzle of all. Göbekli Tepe was deliberately buried. Thousands of tons of earth were heaped over the site, hiding it for millennia until it was rediscovered in the 20th century. Why would anyone bury something so magnificent? Was it an act of protection, as if they knew something catastrophic was coming? Could it have been the rising waters of the Great Flood that so many ancient stories describe? If so, perhaps they wanted to preserve their knowledge for a future humanity that might one day uncover it, just as we have now. Standing at Göbekli Tepe, you can almost feel the weight of forgotten history pressing down on you.